Discovering possibilities and potential with passion every day. This is a TPPN production. Welcome to the iPad Possibilities Podcast, episode number 96, Logos Bible Software. Please visit iPadPossibilities.com for more information about the premium show, in which you'll be able to gain access to all the episodes a day early, as well as special video episodes not available anywhere else. Well, welcome to the Wednesday-Thursday edition of the iPad Possibilities Podcast. This is Tim here, and for today's episode, it's going to be all about Logos Bible Software. I've been using Logos on the Mac for about 2 years, and they've come out with an iPhone version and an iPad version. And for this show, I was able to speak with the lead developer behind the iOS apps, so the iPad and iPhone. And he shares a lot of great information as far as their goals with the platform of Logos and just Logos in general. What is it? What it is all about? And it was just a thrill to actually speak with someone that, it's an application I use every day. Without further ado, let's get on to the interview for today. Well, I'm here today with Dave Duncan. Dave is the lead developer for the iPhone and iPad app for Logos Bible Study Software. And how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Tim. How are you?
Doing pretty good here. So you are the main guy behind the Logos apps, right?
Yeah, the mobile app. I'm the mobile dev lead, and right now the iPhone app is the only app. So
right.
So
what's kind of the size of the team? Is it a pretty small team? Or?
Yeah, there are two of us that work specifically on the iPhone app. We've got a couple dozen developers total, and we share a lot of technology on the back end. So there's only two of us working on the iPhone app, but there are dozens of people that have worked on bits and pieces of it that aren't specific to the iPhone app.
Okay. And before you dive into Logos, what's a little bit about your background? Have you been developing all your life, or?
Yeah, pretty much. I've been a professional software developer for a little over 10 years now, and worked mostly on client-server stuff. I've been at Logos for 2 years and I've worked on the iPhone, iPad app for close to a year now. Yeah, I've been a geek pretty much all my life, and I think I started programming on my dad's Timex Sinclair when I was 5 or so. So I've been doing it a while.
Okay, cool. And before we dive into, is it Logos or Logos?
It's either. The only wrong way to say it is Logos.
Okay.
So you can say Logos, just
okay.
Logos.
Yeah, and it means book and
it means
language?
word.
Word. Okay.
Word. Yeah.
And it's a Bible study software. Can you kind of go into what's all about?
Yeah. So Logos Bible software is the product, and it's a massive Bible study library. So it's a system of tools and resources for studying the Bible. So it's not just we've got dozens of translations, English and other language translations of the Bible, but we've also got hundreds of commentaries and dictionaries and devotionals, and we have images and maps and just all sorts of resources, all related to studying the Bible.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a Logos user myself. I've got the Leader edition for the Mac, and it's very excited when the iPad version came out because I'm actually reading the stuff I've paid for more.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons that we wanted to do this app, is because people get these books. A lot of the books that we get are or that we offer are prose books, and it's not a great experience to read a book on a computer screen sitting at a desk. So when the iPhone came out and had the possibility of having something portable that you could read a book on, just go sit in your favorite chair and kick back and read. We thought, this is really great. People, if we build a product for this device, then people will be more likely to get more use out of the books that they have in the Logos library.
Right.
And the iPad is even better because you've got a bigger screen, and it's a really great display, and it's pretty comfortable to read a book on the iPad, I think.
Yeah, I've been reading more and more since the iPad came out. It's like I don't like the experience of paper books. I find them heavy and awkward to hold, and it's kind of the opposite of what everyone else is telling me about LCDs not being fun to read on. It's like,
Yeah.
I like the stability of just having this one size. It doesn't change when you move between the front, the back, and the book.
Yeah.
So, do you guys work closely with the Mac developers and even Windows developers for integration with the desktop versions?
Sure. Like I said before, we've got kind of a core that we share across all the different platforms, and so we've got lots of different people that are working on that. And the core of the product is built on the .NET framework, and our primary product is the Windows application. I mean, it's really, when you buy Logos 4, you're buying the books. That's pretty much what you're buying, and the tools are free, really. And those books are, you can use the books on Windows and Mac, and most of them on the iPhone. But the core of the product, that the technology is shared. So we use that same code on Windows, and we use it on Mac, and we use it on the web. And in the case of the iPhone app, we use it on our servers, which we use to feed information to the iPhone or iPad. It's the app is really the same between the iPhone and the iPad. It's the same code. We just do things differently. We detect if the device is an iPad, and we display things differently.
Okay. And you mentioned is there a web interface to Logos that I don't know about?
Yeah, we've got, we did the iPhone app, and then we had a lot of people that didn't have iPhones. They wanted to be able to access their resources on their Android or BlackBerry or whatever. So one of the things that we did was a website called library.logos.com, and that is mostly the equivalent of the iPhone, iPad app, but it's in a lightweight HTML format that's kind of optimized for mobile devices. So if somebody has some other mobile device, they can go to library.logos.com, and they see most of what's in the iPhone, iPad app. Okay. And we also have another website that we've just recently started promoting, and I think it's still considered beta, but we're working on it, called biblia.com. And biblia.com is the home of the Bible on the web. It's a website optimized for reading the Bible, and it's focused around the Bible, but it also links into your other Logos resources. So if you've got commentaries and other things, you can see them there. So it's kind of, we're trying to build a whole ecosystem, I guess you could say, of resources around Bible study.
Okay, and how would you compare yourselves to some people like YouVersion? I'm not sure if you're familiar with them. They do a bunch of Bible apps for different platforms, and do it
Sure.
on the website as well.
Right. The thing that Logos does is that is really unique to us is that we put a lot of work into linking our resources together, and so our the commentaries and the dictionaries, and we've got databases about words in their original languages. So you can, on an English word in the iPad app, for instance, you can touch and hold on the English word in your English Bible, and it will bring up information about what the original Greek or Hebrew word was that was translated to that English word, and then you can do some further study on that and find out, this is translated other ways and other translations or other verses in the Bible. And you can get links to dictionaries on that, like a Greek or Hebrew dictionary about that. And so when you start getting all these different resources that all link back and forth into each other, we call it the network effect. And the idea is that the network, all these things linked together, the value and utility of that is greater than just the sum of each individual resource.
Right. Okay. And how much does integration happen between the desktop and iPad now? Does bookmarks carry over? What all carries over, and how does it all integrate?
Yeah. So we've got your resources. You sign into your account and you automatically see all your resources on the iPad. You don't have to go copy files to it.
Right. One question about the resources:
Sure.
how willing were the publishers and people you were working with willing to have these available on the mobile device when their original intention was for a desktop computer? Was there some struggle there?
I'm not in the publisher relations department, so I'm not sure if there is a struggle or anything like that. But I do know that a lot of our contracts were written close to 15 years ago, and so some of them are specifically, they say distribution on CD-ROM, because that was it, right? There's no idea of transferring things over the internet, and so for some resources where we have contracts that are old like that, we've had to go back and get amendments, and so we've worked with the publishers on that. Some of our newer contracts, we've had that built in for a while. So a lot of the newer books that are coming out, we've made provisions for mobile devices from the start, even before we had a mobile application. And I think we have over 6,000 resources available on the iPhone or iPad now, and it's most of the big books, and I think it's about 60% of the total number of books that we have in our catalog.
Okay. And what else besides resources integrates with the desktop?
We've got your favorites or bookmarks, collections. In the desktop app, you can group books together and say, these are my favorite commentaries for this particular topic or area of the Bible. And then in the app, you can say, I just want to search within this collection of resources. Reading plans, you can create a reading plan in the desktop app, and that syncs to your mobile device. And then you can, it continuously syncs. So you can, if you read something on your desktop one day and then read something on your mobile device the next day, it keeps track.
And the reading plans, is that on the main screen? Because right now it has the Bible in a year. That's kind of the built-in one. Will more appear when you start adding those on the desktop?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you just have the iPad, we've got a default read the Bible in the year, and that starts when you first open it up.
Okay. And then the collections, where would that appear?
On the search page.
Okay.
In the search view.
It'd just be on. You have
see,
recent searches, and underneath it'd be collections or whatever.
There's a button that says entire library, and when you hit that, it brings up.
Oh wow! Yeah.
Yeah, if you've got other collections in there, that list also includes resources that you have or books that you have open on the device or you've recently opened on the device. So if you want to narrow your search to some specific resources, you can do that there.
Okay, cool. That was a little hidden thing I didn't see before. So, anything else besides that? I'm just kind of trying to get a full grasp of what gets carried over.
We sync across your priorities. So when you pick your favorite Bible on the desktop app, then are your favorite commentaries, and those are the books that your iPad will use as well. If you just jump to a verse, it'll open up in your favorite Bible. Or if you run a passage guide, your favorite commentaries will show up if they've got something for that passage. Okay. And we're also, another cool one that we do is your position in a book. So if you're reading along on the desktop and you leave off on the middle of page 253 in some book, when you pick up your iPad and open up that book, it'll open up to the middle of page 253. And so that's really nice for, if you're doing some work on your desktop or laptop and then you go catch a bus and you want to finish off what you're reading on the bus, you can do that, and it keeps track. And then one of the things that we're working on that's not available yet is syncing notes and highlights. That's something that our users have requested and something that we want to do. So notes that you take on the mobile device or on the desktop or your laptop they all sync to our servers and they stay attached to your account, and so you can see them wherever you go.
With the ability to then add new notes on your iPad?
Yeah, that's what we want to do, yeah.
Okay, cool. And one question I had is, with all these resources that you have access to, are there any future plans in the future to make it more, like with the desktop, you can do a search that will search all the resources and it'll compile it in a way that's more friendly to research? Is there enough horsepower in the iPad to do something like that?
We do all the searching and our passage guides and word studies, and we do all that on the server because no, there's not enough horsepower to do that on the device, especially on some of the first and second generation devices. They just they don't have enough memory and storage and processing available to do that efficiently. But if we send that request to the server and we can search your 6,000 books on the server and give you results in a second or two, that's the route we chose to go because we think that gives the best user experience.
Okay. And are you guys trying to do feature parity with the desktop at all? Or is that the aim, the end result aim at this? Or is it something, do you want it to be something different as far as functionality and feature set?
We want it to be what makes the most sense for the iPad. And not all the features that are in the desktop app make sense on a mobile app just because the devices are different. Right. So I think it's pretty unlikely that the iPad app will ever have every single feature that is in the desktop app because that it doesn't make sense. Some of those things aren't terribly useful on a small screen.
And likewise, not every feature that makes its way to the iPad will be on the Mac because it's different.
Right. Like we have Twitter and Facebook sharing on the mobile devices because people like to do those things from their mobile devices, and there are other ways to do it on the desktop app, so we don't put those into the desktop. And there's some other cool stuff that we have planned for the mobile devices, things that make sense for a mobile device that don't necessarily make sense for a desktop app. And so over time, you'll see some of those things showing up in the iPad app.
Okay, very cool. I'm guessing it's too early to talk about those.
Yeah, I can't talk about some of the specific things.
Okay. Well, what tools are currently available for Bible study within this app? That's kind of what the desktop one's great for. It's you can study the Bible in it.
Right. So we have over 6,000 resources, like I mentioned. We have most of the popular translations of the Bible available on the iPad app, and most of those are free. Even if you don't own the Logos software, we wanted to make those available because we want this to be the best Bible study app available. So you need great resources for that, and so this is a good way for people to get introduced to Logos. We have the original language tools and the word study tools. So like I said, you can in an English Bible you can touch and hold on a word and it brings up the Greek or Hebrew for that. Or if you're not on a Bible, if you touch and hold on a word, it'll bring up a dictionary definition if we've got one. One of the really cool features of the product is the passage guide, where say I want to study John 3:16. I just go to the passage guide view and enter John 3:16, and we bring up top commentaries about that, cross references, topics. If you've got images or other media in your library that are relevant to that passage, then we show those as well. And so it's just a really great overview. Like if you want to study a passage and you're not really sure how to start, the passage guide is the way to do it.
Yeah, I'm looking through mine now for Ephesians 6:10. There's a lot of good stuff in there to start. Just because a lot of this stuff, a lot of the resources in your library are kind of hidden from you until you actually start searching for things.
Right. Yeah. The passage guide makes things much more discoverable. In the development process, we had a theme that was, if it's not in the passage guide, it doesn't exist. For the desktop app,
Yeah.
passage guide on the iPad app is a little more limited because we can't display quite everything. But yeah, we do a lot of work to make sure you're getting the most use out of all the resources you have.
And one thing I had a question about.
Sure.
Copy and paste. I was wondering about this because a lot of the times I'll be using Logos and in church, or just reading it and want to copy out a passage to like Evernote to save. Is that something that the publishers are worried about, people just copying out whole books? Or
we're working on that. It's it's been a technical limitation up till now.
Oh, technical within the app and development.
Yeah.
Okay, I was wondering about that. Yeah. So my next question here is, Logos seems to be kind of the iBooks sense of like spiritual and religious content. Is that kind of the aim of? Is that one of the aims to be the place where people go to buy their next spiritual growth book or something like that?
Logos is a lot more than a book reader. I talked about the network effect and how we link books together, and we've got all these great cross-reference tools and study tools and guides to get you going. So it's we do a lot more than just letting you read the books. And we do aim to be the best source of electronic material related to Bible study. So the things we're working on and what we want to do is, when you need some electronic resource related to Bible study, whether it's a devotional or a commentary or any other sort of study material, that you come to Logos because we've got it. That is one of our goals. Yeah.
Okay. And a lot of the, like, iBooks has a built-in store. Is that something that will be delegated just to using Safari to buy new content, or are you guys looking at doing like an in-app store purchasing of new content that's a part of your library then?
We're investigating some of that. I don't think that we can do a fully in-app purchase because of the way our licensing works and how Apple's App Store policies are set up.
Right. Yeah, I know even Barnes and Noble and Kindle still get a Safari.
Right. So on the homepage in the iPad app, we do have some items that come up occasionally, news items, and we've got some books that we might have on special there, and from there you can link out to the website and buy them there. And I'm not sure on the iPad if it goes to the mobile version of our website, the logos.com website, or if it's the desktop version.
Looks like the full one.
Okay, so on the iPhone, we do go to a mobile version of the shopping cart and checkout process. So we're trying to figure out how we can make the best experience for the user, because we do want to sell books through the app. I mean, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I've purchased numerous through the iBooks app because it's so easy to just find new content that way.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing that I really enjoy of Logos is just reading books in the app, because it looks more like a real book than some of the other, like YouVersion. It's just this endless scrolling list of text, like a scroll or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But Logos is actually more like a book. Are you guys working on more things that'll make it more book-like and more readable? My example is iBooks with they've got natural page turns, they've got sepia, so you can actually get the page much darker in certain environments, and I guess brightness controls don't matter anymore with 4.2, but text choices. What kind of things are you guys working on as far as making it more book-like?
Sure. Yeah, we have gotten requests for some of those features, and like you said, some of them are taken care of by the OS with being able to change the brightness with the double click menu. But we're looking at things that can make readability better. Some of the things, I don't know. I think the trend towards emulating the physical world on these devices is kind of peculiar. In some ways it makes a lot of sense. And in other ways it's kind of gimmicky. So I think we tend to shy away from the gimmicky things and focus on the things that add real value and make things easier to read. And so if that includes adjusting the colors in the background, then that's something that we're going to be looking into and implementing if it makes sense for most of our users.
Okay, awesome. And as far as like text choices and things like that, is that something that might happen? And I'm not sure about font size. Is that in the options menu?
Yeah, you can change the font size in the settings.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Of the app. As far as the font styling, we do a lot of work in our books to we embed a lot of styling information more than it's more than just the text of the book or
right. I see. Yeah, bold, italics, linking, and things like that within it.
Right, and we really do. We really try hard to make our books look like the paper book. If we've got paper equivalents for these things. So I'm not sure how much styling we can do for some books. The other thing is we're always trying to strike a balance between providing the features that people want and making it simple. So if what we don't want to do is have the settings page end up being 17 screens scrolling down where you can tweak every little thing. The Logos 4 desktop app didn't have a settings menu for most of its development. It wasn't until the end that we started making some concessions about what things people really want to be able to change, because most of the time if we just provide the best defaults, then that's going to make almost all users happy except for the
The few.
The few who want to control every little detail.
Yeah, I noticed on the Mac alphas there was no settings for the longest times. I'm not sure if it didn't make it there to the beta, but yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
So, what is your favorite feature of the iPad application?
The thing that I like is being able to touch and hold on an English word in a Bible and getting the original language word. That's it's something you can't do in a paper book, and it's something that I think provides a lot of insight for me when I'm reading through. I think, okay, this word means this to me in English, but I want to see what the original word was and see how it's used in other contexts in the Bible, and that might often does add more meaning to the verse that I'm looking at. So
Yeah,
for me,
I'm trying it
that's
out
the
now.
coolest feature.
It's pretty amazing. I typed on anger and it pulled up this little chart of how often anger is used in this context versus another context and where it's used and examples of that. What's the color coding there?
I don't believe there's any specific significance to the colors.
Okay, I was wondering.
It's just in the ring graph. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, the ring graph, exactly.
Right. Yeah, that's one of the cool things that's new in Logos 4 and this app is we're doing a lot more visualizations. So we've got the ring graph and we've got some other graphs and charts that show how different words are used. And we've got a feature in Logos 4. It's called people, places, and things, and it's a database of different information about people, places, and things in the Bible. And with people, we've got charts about people and how they're related in the Bible. So whether it's kind of like family tree, right? So you've got
the
you can see a
genealogy.
family tree and see how different. For one person, we might have several different charts that shows how they're related to other groups of people in the Bible, and so we've done a lot of work on visualization like that to help people who like me. I'm a pretty visual person, and I don't like if I might not be able to understand something if I'm just reading a page full of text, but if you show me a chart, then it becomes clear to me very quickly.
Yeah.
So we're trying to address how different people learn and help out through visualizations that way.
Okay. And one question, I didn't have the notes here, but is I haven't purchased a study Bible per se from Logos. Are those different as far as, do they have like footnotes and things that we expect out of the traditional study Bibles, or how are study Bibles implemented on a study Bible platform? If that makes sense.
Yeah. The way that our study Bible resources work is you get the Bible, and really this is kind of how the books work too, right? You've got the Bible, and then you have notes about the verses in the Bible, and on a paper book, those are they're put on the same page. They're usually sectioned off, right? Where you've got
sometimes it's half
part
the page
of half the page
reference.
is the notes, and right. So in our system, those are two different books, and when you're in a Bible, you can switch over to the notes, and it'll show you the notes for that whatever verse you are on in the Bible.
Okay. And does that work pretty well in the iPad app, or is that something you're working on still?
There are ways we can improve that on the iPad app, so we're working on that still.
Okay, because that's something I haven't purchased yet. 'Cause I just wasn't clear on how that all worked, because I know there's a lot of tools already built in for that. So one of my favorite features of just a paper Bible is the ability to throw in different bookmarks in the Old Testament, New Testament, and wisdom books, so I can read 3 parts at once. What's the way Logos attacks this problem of trying to keep your place in the book, but wanting to read multiple parts in the book?
Yeah, you can add a favorite at any point in any book, and we we have favorites. They're like bookmarks. In the desktop app, there are different things that can be favorites, but in the iPad app, it's pretty much just your resource or position in a resource is a favorite. So if you're reading through in the Old Testament somewhere and the New Testament somewhere, then you can leave a favorite for where you left off there, and then bounce back and forth that way.
And the reading plans might help with this too. You could make a reading plan for reading the Old Testament and the New Testament all at the same time, right?
Yeah, the desktop app has a really powerful reading plan feature where you can pick lots of different ways to read the Bible. Say I want some Old Testament and some New Testament, some Psalms and Proverbs and every day, or I just want to read straight through the whole thing, or we've got some different variations there. And say I want to read every other day, or I want to read once a week, and I want my reading to last 6 months, or I want it to last 2 years, or a week, or whatever. And that's more than just Bibles too. We can do reading plans for any book in your library, and those all sync over to the iPad, so you can.
Okay, and
read
it's
it there.
where's the feature found in the Mac or Windows client? Is it like a is it, I want to say, like a
It's
reading book wizard where it guides you through what options you want, or
in the Mac or Windows product, you just say File, New Reading Plan,
it'll
and
just guide you through the process of
yeah,
creating
from
it?
there you can pick the book, and there's just it says but it starts out saying read every day, starting today and finishing in 1 year, and those things that are variable, you can just click on those and change the options.
Okay, awesome. I'll have to look at playing with that more and more. And let's see, let's try to wrap it up pretty soon here. What feature are you most wanting to implement as soon as possible as far as the iPad or iPhone app?
We've we've got some things planned that will take the app beyond just being an individual study tool, and we've got some great vision for how this thing can be more useful for more than just one person.
Like
So
in
I'm
a
really
classroom setting, for instance, or
yeah, I can't talk about it too much, but
okay.
it's yeah, there are a number of different scenarios where it can be useful for more than just one person. So some of those things are really cool, and we're working on some of those and looking forward to working on some other parts of that.
Okay, very cool. Any other thoughts on the iPad or iPhone apps before we move on to Logos 4 and what that's all about?
One thing that I forgot to mention that we've been doing for a few weeks now is free book preview. And this is one of those features that is only available on the mobile device. It's not available on the desktop. So every week we have a book that's available for free, and you just have to sign in and you get it. It shows up for free on your iPad or iPhone, and it's the whole book, and you can read it. And we're doing this is kind of a promotional thing to try and get some other people interested in the app, and people to check out new books. And right now, this week that we're recording this, we've got the Max Lucado's new book. So it's a brand new book, just came out, and you can read the whole thing for free on the iPad if
Pretty
you
awesome.
can read it in a week.
Is it a limited 2-week period and then it's not available for you to read?
We have, yeah. So it's 1 week.
Okay.
And right now we're running everything Sunday through Friday.
Okay.
Books
That's
are available
good
then.
to know, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, very cool. Well, let's wrap up with Logos 4 for the Mac. A large portion of the audience for this podcast, they're Mac users as well as iPad users. So it's been on Windows for about a year. I remember when it was released and remembered when the Mac version was a while behind. What is what is Logos 4 for the Mac? What's new in it? And are there any new iPad integrations and any other Logos 4 stuff you want to talk about?
Yeah. Logos 4 is almost completely different from Libronics 1, 2, or whatever the previous Mac version was. And
that's one thing that when I first purchased it, I was kind of confused. It's like, what's this Libronics logo doing here?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Not too long ago, we decided to focus our branding on the Logos brand. But Logos 4 for Mac is it has almost everything that's in the Logos 4 for Windows product, and it's really focused on usability and getting access to more information in your library and making that making it easier to find things, and easier to use, and faster for searching all your books. I think it's pretty cool. It doesn't have anything. It integrates with the iPad app the same way that the Windows product integrates with the iPad app. So we use our synchronization system, and so everything, all your notes and positions and favorites and all those things are synced between Windows and Mac, as well, and that the things that are supported on the iPad are synced to the iPad as well too.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, that's one thing that was killing me when the Logos 4 for Windows came out, because you had all the iPad and iPhone syncing with the Windows client, and then it can do it on the Mac yet. It's like, so right. That's finally coming here. And it launches October 1st with the official release. The countdown here says 7 days, 11 hours, 13 minutes, and 42 seconds on the page.
Yep, they're burning discs right now.
Oh, awesome. And there's giveaways and stuff going on. How do you become a part of the giveaways for that? I'm not sure if you're...
I'm not prepared to answer that question. If you go to the website, logos.com/Mac, there's information there on how to enter the giveaways. But we're giving away an iMac and iPad and a bunch of iTunes gift cards and iPod Touch. So we're giving away a whole bunch of stuff. And the things that you have to do to enter are basically just get the word out about the product. So the instructions are on the website, logos.com/Mac.
Okay, awesome, cool. Well, thank you for your time once again. This has been a blast just talking to a developer that creates one of the apps that I use on a daily basis, so it's kind of cool.
Great, it's good talking to you.
What, any other closing thoughts or anything else?
No.
Okay, cool.
No.
Well, if you guys want more information about this, they're in the App Store. Just search for Logos, and then just go to logos.com for all the information about how to buy the desktop app and get all that those great resources. So that was the interview I had with Dave Duncan of Logos Bible Software. I'd like to thank him once again for his time, and I'd love if you could leave some feedback from me as far as what you thought of the episode. What other application developers would you like to see me get on the podcast to talk to about their applications? And just any feedback you can provide, that'd be great. I can send that in to 209-542-iPad. That's 209-542-4723. So add that to your voice speed dial list, whatever it is for your phones, and just call in, leave in your voicemail. It's open 24 hours a day. Just leave your voicemail that way, or you can email me at the iPadPossibilities@gmail.com. If you'd like to support this podcast, simply go to iPadPossibilities.com and then go to the premium show. You'll have all the information about the premium show there, and you'll gain access to shows 24 hours in advance for just a couple bucks a month. So sign up there and become a premium member of the day to show your support for this podcast, as well as get access to some pretty cool videos and early content to the episodes. Well, I'd like to thank you as a listener for listening, and until next time, this is Tim Chatton of the iPad Possibilities podcast. I'll talk to everyone again for the Friday Saturday show later this week.